So I get a lot of cases here constantly, and a lot of cases are repetitive. A lot of cases I can pretty much gauge what to expect. So, this is a very short video today because I was pretty busy this week, so I didn't have a chance to film much. But, I got this case there last week. This is as you can see, this is a jabrbox phone. I mean, I've never heard of these phones before. So this phone came in and it was password locked, and of course, not supported by UFED. It's not even listed in UFED. And I did research on the hardware. Unknown hardware is made by, I forget who makes it. I'm gonna put in a screen here to show you more detail on this phone. But anyways, this phone released in 2017. It's from the US. The phone has been locked. The person who owns the phone is deceased, and the family really want to get into this phone. So they sent us two devices. One is a BlackBerry Z10. These are pretty easy to get into. Doesn't matter what the code is. So we can do the BlackBerry, no problem. But the client really wanted this phone. They wanted data from this phone because this is the last phone the person was using before they died. So during my research, I noticed that the phone was released in 2017 and was running Android 7. If you know about Android, Google was forcing Android to have encryption starting with Android 7. I'm not sure it was completely forced. I'm not sure if the manufacturers, when they made the phone, whether they had to really encrypt the device. But in this case, I assumed that's exactly what happened. I figured, well, since UFED can't crack the code because it's some unknown hardware and the phone is locked, and if I remove the chip, I'm going to end up with the encrypted device, I'm pretty much screwed. It's a waste of time. So I figured, you know what? Let's try it anyways. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to remove the chip. I'm going to read it. If it's encrypted, I'm going to reball the chip, put it back on the phone, and maybe figure out some other way of breaking the code. So I removed the chip yesterday, put in the reader, and I quickly scanned through the file system. I've noticed the user partition was not encrypted. It is a if it's Android 7, it would be FDE, full disk encryption device. And I've noticed user partition opened right away and it was scanning for files. I thought, okay, that's strange. Either it's running file-based encryption, which is not really possible because it's it's a 2017 device before full file-based encryption was a thing on Android. So I figured I'm going to put it through Cellebrite, see what happens. So I put the bin through Cellebrite, and lo and behold, there's the data, which is crazy. And, just talking more about cracking codes on phones, a lot of times is dependent on the chipset, on the version of Android, is also based on the security patch. So I couldn't find much info on this phone other than when it was manufactured. It was 2017, so it was Android 7. Moral of the story is, always try it, even if you think you know the outcome, because this is not the first time this happened. I thought, this phone is probably not doable, so I dragged my feet to get to this phone, and of course I was wrong that we got the data. Let's go over to the computer. I'll show you how much data we did get. It was a small chip, it was 8 gigabytes. Sorry, I didn't film the chip off. I mean, I don't want to make repetitive content because there's nothing worse than watching a YouTube channel that puts the same content out all the time. And I don't want to keep this channel kind of versatile when I show different type of content all the time. So let's go over and I'll show you what we got off this phone. So I'm not going to record the screen, but so you can see the phone is made by a long chair. It's an H460, so it's made in 2017, coming out with Android 7.11. So it should have been encrypted. This is why I wasn't sure if we're gonna get anything if I remove the chip. So I also spoke to Cellebrite support. They didn't know much about this phone either, so I was kind of left on my own with this case. So the only thing was left on this particular case was really to remove the chip and see if we get any data. Well, don't get me wrong, I like a good challenge, but sometimes I don't want to waste time on cases I know the outcome on. It's just, but you gotta try these things because if you don't try them, you won't know, unfortunately. So you see, it's going back to the phone. So it's an 8 gig eMMC chip, and that's what we had. So let's look at UFED now. I don't want to show too much of personal information, but you can see we got everything. So it wasn't encrypted. As it was actually decoding the data, I was sitting here watching the logs. I'll show you the logs here. So I always, every time I'm doing any sort of parsing, especially of unknown devices, I actually run the trace log so I can see what's happening. And if it was encrypted, you would see a pop-up in that log that would say user data encrypted, and there will be no way to actually decrypt it because the key is in the CPU. So if you watch my video of Android, I'm going to link it above. If you watch that video, I discussed Android in detail, how it works and how the file-based encryption works, how full disk encryption works in Android. So if you haven't watched that video, you should definitely watch. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. A very short video. Like I said, I'm pretty busy this week, so I didn't have a chance to film anything. I have a very interesting video coming next week because, like I said, I don't want to make the same content over and over. It is a boring content. I don't want to continue making the same things. I don't think people want to see chip off all the time or what have you. I do want to bring more forensic content because that's what we specialize in. I've noticed a very good reception to forensic content. I just have to put it together. It was a forensic case that went from having nothing to pretty much getting to every single device that we were given by the client. One of them was a phone. Also, it's an LG. I forgot the name of it. It's an LG. This phone right here, not supported by UFED for unlocking, and this is also from a DCS person. So we also got into this phone. And when you find out next week how I got into this phone, you're not gonna believe. It's a crazy story, but that's gonna be next week. So before I go, don't forget to like and share these videos, subscribe to the channel. I'm sorry I don't have a tripod. I'm just winging it right now with my hand, holding this huge heavy DSLR in my hand. But yeah, make sure you watch next week because the next few videos is gonna be awesome. I'll see you next week.